What do you want me to do? You just want me to hit you? Come on, do me just one favor.
All right, guys, I want to give you something different today. The Bob videos have been going viral. We have like millions of views on TikTok and Instagram of beating the shit out of Bob. But I want to really give the history of Bob because one of my early mentors told me the power of having a Bob to train on. You can hit the pads all day, you can hit the boxing bag all day, but this literally simulates a human being and it gets your brain wired in and gets you very accurate. One of the mistakes people make is like, look, you don't want to get in a fight. You want to avoid fights at all costs.
We don't want any trouble in here, not in any language.
If you need to defend yourself, then you have to. But a lot of times I'll see people at bars in heated arguments and they're standing this close to each other. This is the dumbest thing you can possibly do because from here, if someone attacks you, you have no time to react. So if you ever are in a confrontation where someone's heated, you have to maintain this level of distance where you can see if their arm comes at you. Right here, I could be, someone could be the best fighter in the world, and if someone just elbows you, you don't have time to react. So you want to kind of maintain here. And even Bas Rutten, he talks about, is it if you're in a situation like this, so some people will just kind of be very, they won't move, they'll just be very stoic. You want to talk with your hands, right? You want to use your hands. You want to be Italian because if I'm talking like this, I can just hit him. But if I am here and then hit him, you can react way faster.
This doesn't look threatening at all, but I got all my defenses here, and if I step back with my right foot, now I'm almost in the fighting stance as well.
And the biggest mistake that people make with fighting is they're stupid, because most fighting is actually not how good you are at fighting, it's actually using your peripherals, being aware of a situation. If I'm in a situation right here, it's better where I know what's behind me. If there's a wall behind me, I can see what's happening. If you ever get in a situation where there's conflict, leave. Don't hang around. People get in trouble because they have a conflict, someone spills a drink on them, there's a push, whatever, it breaks up and they stay in that venue, and then someone brings their friends and they attack you when you're not looking. You're standing, something's happening, talking around. I've always kind of had that sort of spidey sense where something feels off and I'm like, no, I gotta leave. But a lot of people are too carefree, they don't realize what's happening and then they get jumped. So a lot of self-defense is just awareness. It's being very chill, it's knowing how to de-escalate, it's being calm, but you always have to protect yourself and plan for the worst. And so if there's any sort of altercation, you want to maintain this level of distance and you want to use your hands, because if you have your hands up here, they punch you, you can block it. They try and headbutt you, block. And then if something's happening and you have to defend yourself, and the best punch in a real life, situation is really the jab and cross, straight in. If Bob is throwing a big haymaker, one jab or a cross will hit first. And it's the most accurate. And then with a big haymaker, the problem is that if your hand hits weird, you can break your hand, which often happens. So my early martial art instructor, he talked about, he was trained in Jeet Kune Do, and he talked about the straight blast. This is something that originated from Kung Fu that Bruce Lee learned in Wing Chun. Once you catch your opponent, you drive straight down, and it's very hard to defend against. Once you get caught and you're just getting bombarded with punches, it's very hard to defend against. But Bruce Lee found it confining because he had to maintain a certain posture, and if your opponent is moving back, it's hard to catch them. So he adapted the straight blast to be a little bit more functional so you can charge forward with both hands. And this is a technique that only works when you catch your opponent. It only works when your opponent's clipped. You don't do this when your opponent is ready for it, or you're gonna expose yourself. And interestingly enough, Paul Vunak had trained a lot of armed forces. He was very big on this technique, that when you're in a combat situation, once you catch your opponent, you go crazy. And so when I punch Bob, I go crazy. I'm like, we're having fun, and then boom, 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 elbows. Headbutt, elbow, knee. And so it's very hard to defend against. So if you're training with Bob, but in a real situation, real combat, the goal is to catch your opponent, straight blast, and get the fuck out. If there's two opponents, same thing. And you want to circle out. If you don't want to be fighting two people right here where they come around you, you gotta always move, so you're only fighting one person at a time. And that's like probably the best thing you can learn is proper footwork, keep your hands up, and just work that jab, cross. That's all you really need. Jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. And with the punches, a lot of the power is not in the arms, it's in your body. It's right here, it's rotating through the core. Mike Tyson was insane at this.
Going to the body, a couple of those punches appeared low. Counter with left hooks.
These were punches, it was so much in the legs and core. But you gotta keep the elbows in. If the elbows come out, you can see the punch, and you're more exposed. So right in here, tight. Some here. And you get a lot more confident when you work on this thing in a real life situation because you've thrown 10,000 punches on a rubber dummy. So if you have to defend yourself, it's that easy. You're like used to it. You've punched 10,000 dummies. He's been moving around. He's moving around. You still know how to hit him. And you almost, for best accuracy, just think about punching straight down his throat. It's a lot easier. If someone's head's moving around, it's a lot easier to catch their chin if you just think throat. And worst case scenario, you punch them in the throat and it's even more painful. So right here. It's really having good footwork, being fast, being explosive, using your peripherals, being smart, not being an idiot, being right here, being aware, and then being unpredictable. And then you also want, just like in poker, you don't want to have any tells. We all do it. Right before we're gonna punch, we might tense up, might do a facial expression, so you want to, in that case, you want to have 0 tells. So, and as you learn that, you're gonna be very good, and you have to be smart with your hands, because you gotta like maintain strong conditioning. So actually, sometimes I'll train bare knuckle, but just to get your hands used to it. If you're always wearing wraps and gloves, and then you're in a real situation, your hands don't know how to support themselves. Probably not the best thing for your wrists and forearms, but something that one of my early instructors taught. So there's the bob lesson. And if you have time, take some Kino octane before anything happens, and you'll be better off. And remember, strike first, strike hard, and win.
I can't hear you! Strike, strike, strike!